Can you see that, like, the way that's askew or not, that red thing? That window thing? Is that?
Flip Happy, where everything's a little off.
How did you guys get started with this?
So I just obsess over things, and I was having crepes in Europe, and my husband's from Ireland, and I had this crepe that blew me away, so I kept talking about it for years actually, and I guess people like her she just kept listening, and then she's like, okay, well why don't we go make those?
Like the first few months, it's like we get a few customers, and then there's an article written about us.
3 months after we opened was a really good review, and then people started coming.
And then people came that day, and that almost killed it. You know, so it just was, or it just happened exactly the way it should have happened. Like we had time to practice and get all our systems in place and not be stressed right off the bat. It just happened slow enough that we were able to handle it.
There's something about crepes, I don't know what it is, but they combine everything that's good about food in general. I mean, we have cheese and vegetables, and it's all mixed together.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of Texans coming up who are like, what is a crepe? You know, for real. And we're always like, oh, you know, sort of like a burrito, French style. But we wrap it up like a burrito. That's totally not authentic.
Right.
And so we've had someone that'll be like, your sandwich is ready, and we have to beat it into their brains for a month. And
we've had French customers, and more of them are like, oh my God, this was great. Every once in a while.
We do have loyal French customers that are into our
They're like, this is great, even though it's not exactly the way they serve them, you know?
Yeah. So you guys,
we don't have to deal with that.
You're in a really interesting position here, figuratively and literally, in the sense that it's a trailer and you are immune to the elements. You have some parking here, but you're set back from the road, and nobody comes unless they know you're here. You are a destination.
Yeah, so storage is a problem. The elements that we're totally like dependent, you know, on weather. It has to be like not pouring rain or freezing or like 102 degrees. And then restrooms are a problem because you can't have restrooms in your trailer. All little problems.
Little, yeah.
So tell me about your menu. We were going to talk about
menu.
that. What are some of your most popular crepes?
Probably the roasted chicken and the pork. Sorry, I'm looking at the menu. The roasted chicken is goat's cheese and roasted chicken and a caramelized onion. I think you thought of that one. You went.
I think
she did research in Portland, and she ate a bunch of crepes. And then I think Patrick and I added the garlic aioli. That was one thing. We had this sauce under our belt. I'm like, I'm gonna put the garlic aioli on most things, you know, because I just love it so much. My big crepe was the spinach feta. It's on, and the spinach goat. And then the one we beat Bobby Flay with is the Cuban, and that's our pork. It's a slow roasted pork, and that one has pickles and mustard and Tabasco.
And you could just eat that all day long.
So tell me about what that experience was like with Bobby.
Well, my sister had said when I told her the premise, they're like, we're gonna do a show called Crepe Expectations, and we're gonna come and have a party there, and you can invite your friends, and it's gonna be about ethnic street food, and you know, you're gonna be the French section. And then I was telling my sister like their whole thing, and she's like, that's a throwdown, they're tricking you. And I was like, what's a throwdown? Who's Bobby Flay? And then she and her husband were like,
I know Bobby Flay
no way, he is not coming to our trailer.
And my first date with my husband was at Bobby Flay's restaurant, Mesa on 5th Avenue. So when I'm just going, Nessa, Bobby Flay is not coming to this little trailer. So he pulls up in this enormous, fancy trailer. It was such a great big production, and
it was so fun.
I'm gonna walk you through the steps of making a 3-cheese crepe, and the first thing I'm gonna do is make the actual crepe. So I pour a little bit of batter on my griddle, and I have my little spinner tool, and I'm gonna spin the crepe. And it's gonna sit here for a couple of minutes until it gets golden brown and perfect. So now I fold the crepe in half, right? And I'm gonna put, it's called the 3-cheese, but it actually has 4 cheeses. I'm gonna start off with goat's cheese.
It's a little secret trick.
Yeah, you're getting a bonus from us, and nobody even knows it. So I do my goat's cheese, then a little bit of cheddar, and Gruyere cheese. The unknown 4th cheese that nobody knows about is a little bit of feta. And I do black pepper, green onion, tomatoes, and my spinach. it's getting golden brown, and at the end I add a tiny bit of caramelized onion. And that's my 3 cheese crepe. This is sort of the final product. Kind of rolled up burrito style. And we wrap it in our signature red and white checkered paper. Probably nobody else has this.
Where else today?
Where else?
So how is it? How's the first bite?
It's fabulous. It's amazing. These food carts have such high quality food for no overhead.
So tell me how you heard about this place.
I heard about it from friends that are just foodies that love to eat places, and I love the airstream, so thought I'd try it out for the first time.
There are times when we're in there, and I'm sure it happens in all kitchens or offices, or anytime you work with the same people every day, you know, 30 hours a week or 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week, you know, you get to know everyone so well. And so there are times where we're just like on the floor, in tears, laughing so hard. And so I think like...
We often think everything that goes on there is so interesting that it should be a movie.
So what's next?
So we think, unless it were perfect, we don't really want a whole big restaurant, all that entails. A small window on Congress, if anybody's got one, would be great, where, you know, we could have a tiny kitchen and pass grapes out the window.
Like
but
outside of that building, out of that window.
That's fine. But you know, a whole restaurant's very serious. It's very time consuming. We like to close for 2 weeks at Christmas and hang out with our kids, 2 weeks at the end of the summer and hang out with our kids. So, you know,
Thanksgiving.
That doesn't really work when you have an overhead of $5,000 a month.
Right. It would totally change it, though. I mean, you guys have your own little niche over here.
It'd be hard to change at this stage of the game.
That could be like Flip Angry. That could be your satellite. Well, thank you guys very much for taking the time to talk today.
Thank you.
We have
nice meeting you.
Oh, absolutely. We have Nessa, Andrea, and Heather from Flip Happy Crepes here in Austin, Texas. My name is Benji with SavorMyLife.com. Thanks for watching.